In Texas, they're going hog wild over wild hogs. The feral animals are causing hundreds of millions of dollars of damage.
Beneath the calm glow of a Texas sunrise, peace is never guaranteed. For generations, farmers like Jim Miller have poured their blood, sweat, and soul into every inch of this soil, coaxing life from the earth to feed their families and the nation. But when darkness falls, an unseen threat creeps out from the tree line. In just a few relentless hours, the quiet rustle of corn leaves transforms into a nightmare of crushed stalks and gouged earth. Ferocious, cunning, and completely untamed, wild hogs move like an invasive wrecking crew, turning months of backbreaking labor into dirt overnight. This is not just a nuisance. It is an all-out war for survival. A high-stakes struggle costing American agriculture over $2.5 billion every single year. Jim stares at the wreckage, knowing that every ruined harvest chips away at his family's legacy. If you want to see how real farmers fight back to defend their land, hit that subscribe button right now and join us for this incredible journey. As the red glow of the Texas horizon fades completely into pitch black, a different world comes alive under the quiet cover of night. Through the ghostly green lens of a thermal camera, the edge of the woods seems still, almost peaceful, until a shadow shifts. Then another. Slowly, a massive sounder of wild hogs emerges from the brush, moving like a synchronized unit across the open field. Leading the pack is a battle-scarred lead sow, weighing easily over 200 pounds. She does not just wander out into the open. She freezes at the tree line, her massive ears twitching, her snout lifted high into the cool night air to catch the faintest scent carried by the shifting breeze. With a sharp stamp of her front hoof, she freezes the entire herd behind her in an instant. This is not a random pack of mindless animals scavenging for food. This is an organized, highly intelligent force, and beating them requires much more than just a gun and good luck. Where are you watching this video from? Please tell us your country or city in the comments and let us explore together. Understanding what makes wild hogs such a formidable opponent starts with realizing how smart they truly are. In the wild, intelligence is often the difference between survival and extinction, and feral hogs have mastered the art of staying alive. Studies and field observations show that these creatures possess an extraordinary memory, capable of remembering a dangerous encounter or a suspicious trap for weeks, sometimes even months. If a farmer sets a basic cage trap and only catches 2 or 3 young piglets while the rest of the herd escapes, that mistake ruins the spot forever. The lead sow will note the smell of the metal, the location of the bait, and the sound of the latch snapping shut. From that moment on, she will actively steer her sounder away from that entire corridor, teaching the younger generation to treat every human artifact with absolute suspicion. The social hierarchy of a hog sounder operates with military precision. At the heart of every herd is the lead sow, an experienced female who has survived countless seasons, weather shifts, and human encounters. She makes every critical decision for the group: where they feed, when they move, and where they bed down during the day, all depend on her judgment. When the sounder travels, the younger sows and piglets stay close in the center while she scans the surroundings for any sign of danger. If she detects the faint trace of human scent on a fence post or notices a strange object that was not in the field the day before, she will issue a low grunt, signaling an immediate retreat into the thickest cover available. Trying to outsmart a lead sow is like playing a high-stakes game of chess against an opponent who knows every trick in the book. Inside a small wooden observation shed at the edge of his property, Jim Miller sits quietly in the dark, his face illuminated only by the soft glow of a monitoring screen. Outside, the night is freezing, but inside, his attention is laser-focused on the real-time thermal feed sent from the trail cameras hidden along the perimeter. He does not reach for a rifle or rush out into the field. Instead, he opens a well-worn leather notebook and begins to write down the details with painstaking care. He notes the exact time the herd appeared, the direction the wind was blowing, the size of the sounder, and the specific entry point they used to break through the tree line. Jim knows that guessing gets you nowhere. Every entry in his logbook is a piece of data, a clue that helps him understand the habits and instincts of his adversary. This patient observation reveals the true nature of the struggle. Out here, brute force and impulse are useless. If you charge out into the darkness, blowing horns and firing shots, you might scatter the herd for a night, but they will simply return tomorrow through a different quadrant of the farm, even more cautious and difficult to handle. Winning this fight demands an incredible amount of restraint and discipline. You have to learn to read the land through their eyes, calculating wind patterns, weather changes, and feeding routines. It is a slow, methodical mental battle, where the first person to lose their patience loses the entire game. For Jim and countless other American farmers, respecting the intelligence of these wild hogs is the first real step toward protecting the land they have worked so hard to build. Overcoming an adversary as cunning as a wild hog requires throwing out old assumptions and building a completely new strategy from the ground up. For years, farmers relied on heavy, square steel cage traps. They were loud, clunky, and ultimately ineffective against smart herds. If you look at an old iron cage sitting rusted in the weeds, you can see why it failed. When a hog approaches a square cage, every instinct in its body screams danger. In nature, straight lines and hard 90-degree angles simply do not exist. As soon as a lead sow rubs against a rigid steel corner or hears the harsh metallic clank of a heavy door, she bolts, taking the entire sounder with her. Catching one or two young hogs while the rest of the herd learns to avoid the trap forever is a losing battle. To save his crops, Jim Miller knew he had to master the art of precision and rethink every step of the trapping process. If you are enjoying this deep dive into real American farm life and the daily struggles of protecting the land, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us tell more of these incredible, true stories. The breakthrough came with a complete design overhaul, shifting from rigid square boxes to massive, flexible round traps using heavy-duty cable netting. The circular shape is a game changer because it eliminates corners entirely, allowing hogs to move inside smoothly without feeling trapped against a dead end. Furthermore, cable netting is far more humane than solid iron bars. When a wild hog panics, its natural reaction is to slam its full weight against the barrier. Solid steel bars cause severe injuries, but flexible cable netting absorbs and distributes the impact force, keeping the animals safe from harm while holding them securely. Building one of these traps is a painstaking process that demands absolute craftsmanship. Every bolt, every tension clamp, and every steel post must be secured with total precision to withstand thousands of pounds of pressure. Once the circular frame is anchored into the earth, the delicate work of camouflage begins. Wild hogs possess an acute sense of smell and a sharp eye for anything out of place. Jim spends hours on his knees using a flat shovel to bury the base ring under soft topsoil, carefully spreading dried leaves, twigs, and natural forest debris across the metal threshold. When he is done, the boundary between the wild forest floor and the trap entrance vanishes completely. To eliminate any lingering human scent, he sprays every inch of the cable netting and steel posts with a specialized odor-neutralizing enzyme. He wears clean leather gloves and steps lightly, ensuring that no trace of his presence remains behind to alert the lead sow. The final piece of this technical puzzle is a psychology lesson called the patient baiting strategy. Setting a trap and spring-loading the door on night one is guaranteed failure. Instead, Jim locks the massive gate wide open, creating a free pass for the herd. He spreads sweet, fermented corn in a long trail starting deep inside the woods, leading right through the open entrance and into the very center of the ring. For 3 to 5 consecutive nights, the hogs enter freely, eating their fill and leaving without a single disturbance. Each night, the lead sow grows more confident, eventually bringing her entire sounder inside. By investing time, care, and absolute meticulousness into every single detail, Jim turns a dangerous trap into a trusted feeding zone, proving that true patience always wins in the end. After days of careful baiting and meticulous preparation, The moment of truth finally arrives under the cover of a pitch-black midnight. The countryside is dead silent, save for the steady chirping of crickets echoing across the open fields. Inside the monitoring trailer, Jim Miller sits motionless, his eyes glued to the live camera feed. Outside in the clearing, the familiar shadows slowly creep out from the brush. A few energetic young piglets are the first to dash into the center of the circular trap, greedily devouring the fermented corn scattered across the ground. But Jim does not move a muscle. His thumb rests lightly near the remote trigger button, yet his focus remains entirely on the tree line. Standing just outside the drop gate, half hidden in the darkness, is the massive lead sow. She is testing the air, pausing, and watching intently before taking a single step forward. This agonizing waiting period is the ultimate test of a trapper's nerve and self-control. Novice hunters often panic and press the trigger too early out of fear that the animals will suddenly spook and run away. Dropping the gate while half the herd is still outside might guarantee a quick win with 3 or 4 piglets, but it ruins the entire operation. The moment that heavy gate crashes down, the lead sow and the remaining adults outside will bolt into the woods, forever scarred by the experience. They will never come near another trap, and within a few months, those surviving adults will breed and return with a brand new herd twice as large. Jim understands that in this high-stakes game of patience, you either capture the entire sounder at once, or you capture nothing at all. Minutes feel like hours as the heavy sow takes 2 slow steps forward, stops, and scans the perimeter one last time. Finally, satisfied that no danger lurks in the shadows, she lowers her snout and walks right through the entrance, followed closely by the remaining stragglers of the herd. On the monitor, Jim counts every single silhouette. 1, 5, 10, 12. Every single member of the sounder is now inside the circle, completely engrossed in feeding. Jim takes a deep, calm breath, settles his finger over the transmitter button, and presses down. A sharp metallic click echoes through the quiet night air as the magnetic release mechanism fires instantly. Without a loud crash or violent bang, the heavy-duty cable netting drops smoothly from above, sealing the entire circular perimeter in less than a second. For a brief moment, chaos erupts inside the enclosure as the herd realizes the opening has disappeared. They surge toward the edges, but instead of slamming into unforgiving iron bars, they meet the flexible resistance of high-tensile steel cable netting. The netting yields just enough to absorb the impact, preventing broken bones and severe cuts while keeping every animal securely contained inside the ring. Within minutes, Jim and his crew step out from the staging area and head toward the trap site in their pickup truck. They move with quiet, practiced efficiency, keeping their voices down to a low whisper. As they approach the trap, they aim their soft beam flashlights low toward the ground rather than shining bright beams directly into the eyes of the captured animals. High-powered lights and loud shouting only escalate panic, increasing stress levels and causing unnecessary exhaustion. By keeping the lighting dim and maintaining a quiet, composed presence, the team creates a calming environment that helps the sounder settle down quickly. This humane, professional approach represents a fundamental shift in modern wildlife management. For generations, dealing with invasive species was viewed purely through the lens of brute force and aggression. Today, responsible American farmers and land managers recognize that efficiency and respect go hand in hand. The goal is not to inflict suffering or engage in senseless violence, but to solve a serious agricultural crisis with scientific precision, emotional restraint, and absolute professionalism. As the wild hogs settle down against the sturdy cable mesh under the dim light, the tension of the long night slowly dissolves, marking a successful end to a masterclass in patience and dedication. With the herd safely secured, the work shifts smoothly into the delicate phase of transport and site recovery as the first pale light of morning begins to streak across the Texas sky. Jim and his crew back a specialized livestock trailer up to the edge of the circular trap. The trailer is custom-built with solid side panels and individual padded dividers designed to keep the animals calm, preventing overcrowding and reducing stress during transit. Using a temporary loading chute lined with soft netting, the team guides the hogs onto the trailer quietly and methodically, without any shouting or chaotic movement. Once the final gate locks into place, the heavy truck rolls slowly down the dirt driveway, taking the feral hogs away to be processed under strict agricultural guidelines, ensuring that nothing goes to waste and the land is relieved of its heaviest burden. If you appreciate seeing how hardworking farmers maintain the delicate balance between managing invasive wildlife and protecting their crops, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Supporting the channel helps us bring you more authentic stories from the heartland of America. Once the trailer disappears down the road, the quiet routine of farm work takes over. Jim picks up a heavy stable broom and begins clearing away the scattered corn and churned up dirt from the trap floor. He inspects every section of the steel cable netting, wiping down the frame and replacing a few bent wooden stakes. A short distance away, his neighbor, who drove over at dawn to lend a hand, works along the perimeter fence with a heavy pair of pliers, restretching barbed wire and securing loose posts where the wild hogs had tried to force their way under the barrier. For American farmers, helping out a neighboring homestead is second nature. When one farm suffers from crop destruction, the entire local agricultural community feels the pressure, making cooperative land management a shared duty passed down through generations. With the heavy lifting done and the morning chills settling into their coats, Jim and his neighbor lean against the tailgate of a battered pickup truck, sharing a steaming thermos of black coffee. Steam rises into the crisp morning air as they talk quietly about the upcoming harvest, upcoming weather forecasts, and the condition of the surrounding pastures. Looking out across the horizon, you see endless acres of vibrant green corn stalks swaying gently in the morning breeze, untouched and thriving under the protective watch of men who refuse to let their hard work go to waste. The landscape feels restored, returned to the peaceful rhythm that defines life in rural America. This successful outcome highlights a deep, reflective philosophy that every true steward of the land understands. Managing invasive feral hogs is never about hatred, cruelty, or an urge to eradicate wildlife from the face of the earth. Nature operates on delicate ecological balances, and when a non-native, highly destructive species multiplies out of control, it threatens the biodiversity of native ecosystems, ruins natural water sources, and destroys the very food supply that feeds millions of families. Responsible land management is about restoring boundaries, taking active ownership of the environment, and making tough, necessary decisions to protect agricultural integrity. For Jim Miller and thousands of dedicated farmers like him, this daily battle is a profound duty rooted in stewardship and respect. It is about honoring the sacrifices of the generations who cleared these fields before them, and preserving a viable, fertile heritage for the children who will work this soil tomorrow. Fighting to defend the land is not an act of destruction. It is an act of creation, ensuring that honest labor is rewarded and that life on the American farm continues to endure through every season. As the morning sun warms the open Texas sky, Jim stands silently by the wooden fence, watching the wind ripple through acres of healthy green corn. Looking at his weathered hands, stained with earth and sweat, you realize that protecting a farm is far more than just setting traps or guarding crops. It is a powerful life lesson in resilience, patience, and unwavering dedication. Life often throws relentless challenges our way, forces that threaten to dismantle everything we have spent months or years building in a single night. But true strength is not measured by whether you face adversity. It is measured by your willingness to show up day after day, adapt with intelligence, and keep fighting for what truly matters. The wild hogs will eventually return, but so will the farmers, armed with wisdom, quiet determination, and an enduring love for their land. To everyone quietly putting in the hard work behind the scenes to protect their families, their dreams, and their communities, we honor your spirit. What is the biggest challenge you are currently pushing through in your own life? We would love to hear your thoughts and stories in the comments below. If this journey touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button, share this story, and join our growing community. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.